What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Elevation Uncorked podcast, a platform dedicated to fostering conversation around our personal and professional development journey. Throughout this show, I bring on activists, high-performing and achieving leaders, entrepreneurs, creatives, and so much more that inspire me. As we take this journey together, this is a space to really honor and think about our collective growth, much like the vineyards all around the world. All it takes are seeds, a solid foundation, a little bit of watering, and elevation. I'm Tadian, your host, and I'm a lover of all things community, food, wine, and travel. Whether you know me from my business ventures or the Grits Co. or through my community work, I'm excited that you have navigated here to take this journey alongside me as we explore some amazing wines from all around the world. So here's to us, and here's our collective growth. Thank you for joining me here. Cheers. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Elevation Uncorked podcast. I am your host, Tadian, of course, and I'm so excited to be joined by my amazing friend and honestly one of my inspirations, Dr. Taylor Dee Spencer, for my first episode. What's up, Taylor?
Hey, Tadian. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I wouldn't want to start with anyone else. So I'm super excited to hop in and introduce you all to Taylor for those who do not know her. From owning a preschool, serving over 100 kids, to creating kids entertainment through music and video, with over 1.4 million views on YouTube. She is doing the thing, and I'm just so excited to call her friend, but also a fellow colleague and mentor and all the things possible. So Taylor, thank you for joining us. Thank y'all for watching. Before we jump in, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Taylor, what's up? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm just ready to hop on this new journey and see what it brings about, but also to connect with people that inspire me, that also I think can motivate and inspire other people as well.
Absolutely. Well, this is awesome. I feel like I'm on the Oprah show.
You know,
okay.
You're claiming it. Yeah, it's given. All right, so before we jump into some deep talk, I want to kind of start with the rapid fire question round, right? Just so people can get to know you beyond the super formal bio.
Sure.
Don't want to do all of that.
Yes.
So a couple quick questions. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, so you created, you think?
I think I'm ready.
All right. So creating your own music fest, right?
Oh, okay.
Who are your main 3 headline artists?
Oh my gosh. So that's so hard. I depends on who's in the audience, but if it's a whole bunch of me's in the audience, okay, go.
It's your festival. It's
my festival.
Yep.
Okay, so my festival, we're gonna have, of course, Beyonce. She's gonna be the headliner. Okay, I'm a beehiver. Okay, let's put that out there. Then we're gonna bring up John Legend. I love John Legend. I know you said 3, but I'm gonna have to give you 4. Okay. So we're gonna have John Legend. Then we're also gonna bring up Kurt Franklin because we'll have a little praise break in between. Okay. I'm talking 90s Kurt Franklin. Up above my head.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. God's property. But then while all the parents are at the concert, we're gonna have a little kids concert going on, and we're gonna have Jack Hartman. Headliner for the kids. You don't know nothing about Jack Hartman?
I don't. I thought you could go with Jack Harlow. But we'll take Mr. Hartman. I love it. I would definitely do. I'm gonna do Beyonce.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna go B for sure. I'm going to take maybe Jasmine Sullivan.
Ooh,
for this concert
I like Jasmine too. Yeah. I love Jasmine actually.
Jasmine,
that's good.
Yeah, she'll be great. And then we gotta end on some type of note that's gonna take us out for the night.
Okay. Who you got?
I'm feeling something rap.
Okay. What you want?
I'm thinking maybe
You going Future?
I got enough songs. Maybe we can go Megan.
Okay.
And they can do a little Houston moment.
Okay. I can see it.
We'll do that. All right. Next question for you. So we're both from the South, specifically South Carolina.
Yes.
So you know I'm from the South because ...
You know I'm from the South because I sprinkle a little sugar in my grits.
No.
Yes, I grew up. It's not grits unless you sprinkle a little sugar in it. You don't do that?
Okay, growing up, my family did.
Okay.
As an adult, salt and pepper does just fine.
See, no. You gotta, I do the pepper. I don't do the salt anymore. I let the salt go. But you gotta do a little bit of sugar. It just makes it, come on. You gotta try it. Okay. Bring it back. All right.
Next question. Let's see. Final question, so we can jump in. 5 words to describe me. And I'm going to give 5 words to describe you.
Wow.
You want me to go first?
No, I think I can go. 5 words. Okay, I would say determined. I'm describing you, right?
Yep.
Determined, inspirational, extremely friendly. What else would I say? Loving and vibrant.
Okay.
Those are my words for Tadian.
I'll take that. So for Dr. Taylor Spencer, I would say loving.
Okay.
Visionary. I'd say resilient. I think you have to be as a Black woman.
Yeah.
Bold.
Okay.
And loud.
I am loud.
But for all the right reasons.
Proceeds to scream.
Yeah. So again, I'm just so grateful to have you here and to call you friend and to hop into your journey, particularly as an entrepreneur, but as a full woman and a full human being.
Sure.
So in that light, you just celebrated a birthday.
I did. Yes.
So happy belated birthday.
Yes. It's not belated. It's all month.
All month.
Capricorns celebrate all month.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yes.
But I think birthdays are a great time to not just reflect on where you were, but also reflect on who you are currently and where you're going.
Sure. Yeah.
So in that light, to kind of kick off this episode, after just having your birthday, how would you describe and define where you are today, right? If you are defining who you are as a business owner, human, woman, all the things,
Sure.
how would you describe who Taylor is today?
Who is Taylor today? I would say I feel like I'm in transition. I think I'm at a sector of my life where, I was doing a lot of figuring it out. I'm still in that figure it out space, but I think I'm in a transitionary space, if that's even a word. We're gonna make it up today, okay?
Yeah.
I think I'm in a transition of becoming the next level of myself. That's where I truly feel like I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So cheers to transition. We're gonna open this bottle.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah, so every episode we're gonna introduce a new bottle of wine and potentially a new wine company. Today, I'm going to highlight the McBride Sisters collection, specifically Black Girl Magic Red Blend. Because I have on one of my favorite Black women, I think it's only right to highlight a female-owned winery, even more specifically a Black female-owned winery. So today we're doing a red blend, Taylor. I know you're not that much of a wine drinker, but
Not
you dabble.
too much. I'll dabble. I'll try. I've always actually wanted to try this kind. So this is perfect.
You never had any of their wines before?
I haven't.
First time for everything.
Yes, it is.
All right, so this red blend is going to be a mix between a Merlot and a Cabernet.
Okay.
So I'll be putting some tips throughout these episodes to kind of explain that a bit. But it's going to be a little full body. It's going to be a bit not as sweet.
Okay.
But not too bitter either. It's going to maybe taste like plum, maybe a little woody in some areas. But I hope you like it.
Okay. We're gonna find out.
This is also my first time trying this one in particular too. So
Okay.
I'm excited about that. So we'll start with a quick cheers so we can hop in.
Perfect.
All right. So cheers to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
All right. So we started all kind of talking about how would you define yourself today. And I kind of want to take it back a bit. So thinking of who you are today, if you had to go back and write a letter to your 21-year-old self, okay?
These are good questions.
Right. Still grown woman, but
Okay,
21.
okay.
Not the Taylor today.
Right.
What would you say to that 21-year-old self today?
Wow. What would I say? I think I would keep it simple. I think I would say 2 words: think big. And I say that because what I have learned since being 21 is through my journey, you can only go as far as you can think, essentially, or you can only grow as far as, your faith can go. And so I think a lot of that starts in the mind. And so if you can think big, if you can think that you can go to wherever you're trying to reach, wherever that far place is, then you can get there.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice to my 21-year-old self. That feels like so long ago.
Time is flying.
Oh my gosh.
So speaking of time and kind of things flying, kind of give us a Cliff Notes version of your entrepreneurial journey, right?
Yeah.
So I know we've been friends for a while, so
Yes.
I feel like I've been here for a lot of it. But kind of tell the people what has been your journey of entrepreneurship and what has that looked like from then to now.
Sure. So, Cliff Notes is hard to put it in a snapshot, but just so that I don't talk too much, I started off as a teacher, started off as an elementary teacher, went to college for that. And growing up, I always said, from a young girl, 4 or 5 years old, I always said I wanted to be a singer and a teacher. So of course, when I wasn't Beyonce by the time I graduated, I decided that I was gonna go be a teacher. And so I did that, went to Winthrop University, and started teaching elementary school, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and I absolutely loved it. Loved everything about teaching. But in that, of course, it brought about its challenges, and so I came across a lot of students that struggled with reading, writing, a lot of literacy-based things, and I found hope in teaching them through music. Again, which is what I already knew, what I went back to. So I would put standards into songs and, you know, create songs for the kids to learn to. And I really, really enjoyed that, and began to, at that same time, I was also teaching during the day and then at night going to teach fitness classes. Yeah. So I was like an aerobic instructor. So I really at that time loved teaching music and music, movement, and literacy. Yeah. And so, you know, I was like, what if I left the classroom to kind of create a bigger classroom? And so I was, you know, again, thinking big at that age, but, you know, even bigger now. And I decided to leave on faith. I left the classroom $0 on faith. Wow. Not the safest way to do it, but I knew I wanted something more than the classroom. Not because I didn't like the classroom, but because I knew there was more for me. Yeah. And I knew I was called to do more. And so left the classroom, bought a bus. I know you remember the big yellow tumble bus. Yeah. I became the African-American Miss Frizzle. Yep. Yeah. Just thinking back to those days, it's so funny. So I bought a bus, converted the bus, and I started teaching on the bus. It was no seats on the inside. Would bring kids on, and we would do music, movement, and literacy on the bus. You were traveling everywhere with the bus. My gosh, I was everywhere. The news section was coming up behind me like, excuse me, ma'am, what are you doing with that bus? It was very ridiculous. Yeah. But that was my start. That was my start. And I oftentimes get a chance to speak to people now, and I'm always like, what's your bus? What's your start? You got to start somewhere, right? And so I kind of went from the classroom to a mobile classroom, and then in that, I started getting speaking opportunities and opportunities to do professional development and opportunities to share my music. Yeah. And then I decided, you know what? I want to create a kids YouTube channel. Like, if I can reach these many kids traveling on a bus, how many kids can I reach if I start putting my content on the internet? Yeah. And so started that, and just low budget, small little ring light. Okay. Now we have a whole set. Yes. Started with a ring light and just started putting stuff out there. Yeah. And you know, here we are a few years later, 1.4 million views. Insane. You know, if I would have never done that, I would have never reached that many kids. Yeah. And so that's kind of my journey in a nutshell. No, that's beautiful. And I think it speaks to the power of just starting and innovation, right? Like you had this whole school bus. Converted the entire thing. Yes, ridiculous. Like into like this playground, if you will, but also a learning playground for you as well. So I kind of want to start right there because you talk about your entrepreneurship journey starting after you kind of went into the more natural working world, if you will. Growing up, did you grow up in an entrepreneurial household? So you know what's funny? Partially. So my dad was an entrepreneur, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. Okay. Everybody else around me had traditional jobs, but so I'll stop there and see what the next question is. Because I was thinking about that before while I was preparing for this, because I wanted to ask, it's something I'm processing now a lot more at this phase of my journey. Yeah. How do you think that has shaped you differently? And what has that taught you about dreaming? Yeah. Maybe early on in life that you're still carrying and living by today? So what's so funny is, like, you know, a lot of people ask me that question, and I wish I could say like, yes, like they sat me down and they said, you know, make your own money and find your own path, but that didn't necessarily happen. You know, like I said, growing up, then when they said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would always say the same two things. I want to be a singer and I want to be a teacher. So it's like the space wasn't there for them to say like, well, you need to chart your own path, because they didn't know how to teach me in that context. Right. But what I did see was them doing it. Right. And so now that I know myself as an adult, I learn a lot by what I see. Right. Like I learn a lot by just experiencing things. Yeah. And so in that, I was experiencing hustle. I was experiencing hard work. And so through that, although they were self-employed, you know, I was able to witness somebody getting up and generating their own income. Yeah. And so I think subliminally I did learn from that. And me and my dad are a lot alike. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because it's something, again, I grew up entrepreneurial. Like, growing up, my parents did not work a regular job. Okay. And I use regular loosely and also with respect. Sure. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. Right. Because, baby, that bus didn't work out. I was getting on that. But since the dad was born little, my parents were already entrepreneurs. My grandparents are already entrepreneurs. So I was like born into that life is what I like to tell people. But as I get older, something I've been processing is I'm starting to understand when I meet more people, how growing up in an entrepreneurial family, how oftentimes your view of dreaming is different. And I think the word there for me is like choice. Sure. Right? So like it wasn't about my parents ever telling me I have to be an entrepreneur. Sure. The bigger lesson they wanted to teach me was the world is yours. Okay. And whatever that looks like, you have the ability
right? To go out and make that whatever you want it to be.
Right.
And this is what it has looked like for us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go down this path, you can. But if you want another path, you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So the freedom for me has been choice.
Okay.
Question to you based off of that: how do you define as today, right? Like, how are you defining what does it mean to have freedom?
Wow, these are some really deep questions, Sadian.
But these are things I was already thinking.
Yeah, they're really good though. They're so good. They're very reflective. I think for me, it is the ability to wake up and create in whatever avenues I want to. Like
One more time.
The ability to wake up and create in whatever avenues I would like to. So I always knew myself to be a creative, mostly through music and singing. But being a teacher, right, you have to be creative. I always say teaching is 2/3 acting, 1/3 teaching. Like if you can't entertain and be this, whatever type of person, you can hang, the kids don't care. Or you're boring, you consider boring, right? And so just that experience for me really helped me to hone into like, how creative can I be? And so I think now how I would define that freedom for myself is waking up and being creative in whatever ways I feel led to on that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow up.
Okay. It's a test.
Because I'm loving this.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sip. Just
Yeah, do your thing. Intentional pause here, because I'm grilling you right now. But I love that, the ability to wake up and create and do whatever it is that you want to do. As it relates to that definition of freedom, what do you feel you are on your journey currently in quest of that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you already, like, not a place of arrival, but like, because it's more of a journey, right? It's not a destination.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like, what do you feel you currently are in the quest for that?
So I think I'm getting closer, but I don't really have the mindset of arrival either. I really actually enjoyed the process.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm like in this entrepreneurial journey, whatever that means, it can be so trendy nowadays, but like, I feel like I'm enjoying the quest.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, while I'm in the quest, I'm truly enjoying the creativity that comes with the glory days and the challenging days, because no matter if it's going well or if things are going awry, creativity is still required. So I think in that, I'm just kind of in the space and getting closer to perhaps that space of arrival, I guess, but I don't even know if there's really such thing. There's not a such thing.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. It's
like,
really
I think it's more of the more you go on the quest to get it,
Mm-hmm.
you actively do it more because you see it in action.
Right.
Right, you
Yes.
see that it's real.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I define freedom? I think freedom to me is the ability to live out your wildest dreams without any constraints, right? And I think oftentimes, again, whatever that may be, right?
Yeah.
Like that could be just existing and being black, right? Or that could be starting a business or having a kid, whatever those things are. Freedom to me is the ability to do whatever you believe and whatever you want and live out your wildest dreams. So thinking about that, the journey towards that can be difficult in a lot of ways. And I think really ultimately for all of us, that is what we're all working towards, right? Is our definition of freedom.
Sure.
So even when we talk a lot, getting personal, like I know we always talk about, oh, I'm about to do this thing, or I'm working on this and I'm doing that, but I don't have this yet, or like, but it's not perfect, or like, but it's not good enough. And one of the things I always started to process to myself is you will grow as you go.
Yeah.
Right? It takes starting to get you to the next step. If you don't put right foot forward, left could never go.
Right.
Right? And as you take those steps, you grow and become what that thing needs to be at its full capacity or full scale. So what has been your journey of navigating perfectionism versus just the need to start and grow along the way, particularly as it relates to like your entrepreneurship journey?
I think a lot of it has come from just accepting the fact that there is no such thing as perfection, right? Number one, like you said, you always try to line it up and say, I gotta have this in place before doing this. But I think also accepting the fact that as humans, we're naturally adaptive, right? So I've learned that when you put yourself in environments, no matter what that environment may be, whether it be the next level or whether you're gonna stay where you are, you're going to adapt to that environment. So when you're trying to grow, I always say put yourself in that next environment, because you're going to adapt to that and continue to grow.
That's good.
Yes.
And you made me think of something like performing the best you can where you are.
Yeah.
Right? So you're starting a podcast. Okay, I can't afford to bring on a team right now and bring in an outsider in terms of videography. Get on YouTube. Learn. Start with your phone, right?
Yes.
Like, I want to be a photographer. Start with that iPhone,
Exactly.
right? Like, starting where you are, because there's lessons in starting that can help prepare you for where you're going.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to waste time, and I say that loosely.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste time waiting on getting it right or having everything you need.
Exactly.
When there's certain things we could have already figured out and worked out.
Right.
Right. So I think that's the beauty, but also the growth that comes through discovery and just trialing it out along the way. So speaking of wanting things to be perfect and everything not always working out that way, I've been your friend for years now, and I've been part of your journey since you started Wonder Academy. And when you started that process, so excited for you and so happy, and still is today, especially all the great work y'all are doing. But it didn't work out the perfect way that you thought. Right? Something major happened almost in the middle of that, the start of that. Can you kind of share that story for those who may not know?
Absolutely. So, was super excited. November of 2019. I prior to that was still doing the tumble bus, and I had a lot of people saying, you should have a brick and mortar. You should have something on site for children, or start a summer camp, start a school, start a this. You know how everybody projects these things on you. And so eventually, with all of that, I always knew that I would eventually want to do that, but I thought that would come, years down the road. But as that continued to be projected, I began to look up commercial real estate, just thinking I'm dreaming ahead.
Sure.
So I'm looking on LoopNet, Crexy, all these real estate sites trying to find it. And I found a deal that at that time that I thought was almost too good to be true. And so wound up kind of looking into that, moving forward on faith on that. And then that March of 2020, and we all know what happened in March of 2020. And I had the keys, I got the keys the day before the C word. And I remember at that time, boomerangs were really, really cool and trendy. So I was doing a little boomerang with my keys in front of the building. And then yes. And then the next day, I wound up hearing the news that North Carolina was in state of emergency due to COVID. And so at that time, I was just completely broken. Not only did I not have any kids in this 12,000 square foot building with a little bit of savings, and I say that very boldly, that it was a little bit of savings, because not enough to sustain a 12,000 square foot building making $0. And I also lost my tumble bus business at that time. So it was branded under Beyond Fit Kids. All of my clients for that business called me and said, so sorry, you can't come back until we figure out what's going on with this. And so in the snap of a finger in 24 hours, I was shattered. Yeah, it was a really difficult time. Yeah.
And and knowing where you are today, right? But before that though, what is that journey between that moment, March 2020, and today, 2024? What has that experience taught you? And I want you to drop two different bars, right? A bar around what is it that taught you about business, but also what has that taught you about your faith?
Sure. Well, I think for me in the business sector, it has taught me that you have to maintain your creativity, even as an entrepreneur, to survive, right? So it kind of taught me survival and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is very trendy and people are talking about it and doing it and thinking that it's this, easy thing, but essentially sometimes you have to pull from pots that you never thought you would. And so in that season, it taught me that, and I had to truly find ways to kind of keep going, even with zero customers, knowing that eventually they would come. So I would go to that empty building and I would continue to set the classrooms up and continue to clean out things that I didn't want, and just stay steadfast, knowing that hopefully, faithfully, we wouldn't be in that situation forever. So that was kind of my business side. As far as personally, I think it really taught me what faith truly means. It's easy growing up in the church, and I know we both share that experience, right? It's easy to say, I trust the Lord and, stand on faith.
You gotta stand on business.
Right. Until you gotta really stand on that, it's more difficult to walk it out. And so that's what that journey taught me, for sure.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
My mouth's full over here.
So you eat this popcorn, you making a little,
I'm a little hungry now.
a little taste of popcorn.
Take a bite. You know what it's called? Fred and Jean? On Instagram?
Don't start doing that now. We on the cameras.
All right. Keep going. So to that point though, right? You've navigated all that through COVID. And again, I'm glad we're doing this because I want to stop and process how proud I am of you. And I know it's God. I literally know it's God. But you kept going too.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. And here you are today serving over 100 kids. Okay?
Yeah.
And employing how many people?
25. I have 25 employees now. Yeah.
Like off camera, I'm really like, what? Like, what are you talking about? To know that the lives of 100 kids are impacted by the way y'all love them and treat them and care for them. Not I'm doing a commercial, like, and the level of care and attention they get. But also the fact that 25 employees, that those 25 people are able to feed their families, that food is on their table by way of you taking a vision from here to here.
Sure.
And that's powerful. So question to you, and I don't know if you can fully process it, but how do you sit with that, knowing that you taking something from here to here is doing that for so many people?
Yeah, well, I think what you said at the beginning, I have to go back to reiterate that it's definitely not me, right? I never want to be this person that's saying I'm taking the credit. I always like to say I'm being a good steward, right? How you say, yeah, I share that. You know, I feel like I'm just a steward over what God has given me. So I want to start there and say that that's why this is all happening. But I do want to share that I think I'm a good steward. You know, I think I'm a good steward. I am doing my part. And I'm going to continue to do that boldly and be serious about it. But as far as, I think I lost my train of thought.
No, it's good, because that was a bar within itself.
Yeah,
like,
look, I think I'm a good steward.
Faith is great.
Yep.
You know, spiritual is good, but you have a role to play. You have a business to run.
You do.
You have people to feed.
Work to do. Yeah, the work doesn't stop. So, what was your question though? You asked a question.
Just how do you sit with that, knowing that?
Yep. So I think I don't. That's the real answer. I don't think I sit with it enough. I'm not very reflective probably as I should be. I'm very thankful for opportunities like these to sit down and, you know, like talk about like, well, where did you start and how did this journey go? Yeah. It's really the only times that I do it, because otherwise I am in the midst. I am working. I am stewarding, right? Because it requires that. So I don't think I do it enough, but you know, to do that with you here today, it is a blessing, and I'm going to continue on that path.
Yeah, because you're head down in the work, you know what I mean? Like you're doing the work every day. And to that point, I want to go to a new question here. To me, that's the journey and the bridge of going from just offering a service to creating a business. Okay? And those are two different things, and I say that all the time to myself, even at the stage that I am. Yeah. I'm not just offering a service. I'm creating a business that one day I'm just going to be on the board for, right? Like, and knowing that you have to operate and process differently.
You do, much differently.
Bars around that, like, what has been the process of, like, not just Taylor D offering tutoring or academic services, but now I have a business to make sure it stays afloat, and not just stays afloat but does well, because I'm feeding families and I'm serving 100 kids. Like, what has been the journey from a business perspective of like building those systems, and like now you have to train people, and now I'm doing onboarding, and now I'm dealing with insurance and benefits and like all these things. The bridge you got for people from service to building a business. What has been that, and what does it look like currently for you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the same now as it always has been, and that's just consistently learning. And I think for me, what has helped me to be okay with the journey of it is because I was a teacher, right? Like, I started off as a class teacher, so I'm promoting learning. Like, learning is cool, learning is great, but you know, as an entrepreneur, learning is required. Like, you must be okay with reading, researching, you know, communicating with mentors, finding connections, really just staying in the books for real and getting to know the information that you need to know to get to that next level. Because in this journey, there's going to be so many things that come up. No matter what type of business you ever start, there's going to be so many things that come up that you just do not have the answer to, especially as you continue to elevate. Because at every new level, you obviously don't know it because you've never been that person before. You've never been at that space before. So you have to be okay with the discipline that's required for you to learn it. And sometimes that can be super cute and so fun and take a picture of the book I'm reading, everybody. And sometimes it requires serious discipline.
That you ain't even read.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you got all that stack of books up there, like, please. Oh my goodness. But it requires you to, for real, open up that book, crack it open, read those blogs, read that content, you know, follow the right people. You know, there's different avenues of information, but you have to be okay with that journey of learning and being a student over and over again.
That's good. That's good. That's so good. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast, because even on my journey, you know, I'm like, there's so much we can learn from each other.
Yeah.
Right? And sure, you can get that from a book and you can get that from a course, but you can get that from lived experience.
Yeah, you can.
And that learning comes with the love and motivation and inspiration, but it also comes with accountability. It's someone putting fire underneath your ass to say, as you're sitting there watching this, what do I need to be doing a little bit better, right? And I'm taking that even from this posture, not just on the screen to those watching, but like, right here I'm saying, yeah, Teddy, and what do you need to be doing better? Because somebody's going to be eating because of the work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And the life that you want shows up by you doing your job a bit more effectively.
Yes.
So that's what these elevated conversations are all about. So my next question to you, in pursuit of your elevated life, right? And this vision that you have for yourself.
Yes.
I always think about, especially for high performing people, how do you find balance between your work and play? And oftentimes I put the word in there, harmony, instead of balance.
Okay.
That's just a Tadian thing. But how do you find harmony or balance between like your work life, but also Taylor Dee's life outside of the work?
Right. Well, I think that's a great question. These are all excellent questions. I think for me, I have learned to accept the fact that the work is never done, right? Like the to-do list, there's not a time where one day you check every box and then you're just sitting there with absolutely nothing to do. That's just never gonna happen. And I think I used to live in a space in life where it was that, you know, when I was teaching in the public school, sometimes there's always things to do even in that setting, but I would have a list, I would get it done. I would feel a sense of completion, right? Like I did what I needed to do.
Yeah, I can clock off.
Yeah, in this space, it's not like that. And I had to make that transition. And so in my early years, like I've been doing this for so long, but you know, when I first started, it definitely wasn't like that. It was probably more so unhealthy, where I was just boots to the ground, getting it done by any means necessary. Now I think I have transitioned to a space of accepting the fact that it's never done and setting proper boundaries to say, you know what, if I want to go have dinner, or if I want to go see my nephews, or whatever I want to do, I'm going to stop at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be done. Or I'm going to stop at 2:30. You know, having that flexibility to say, at this time on this day, you're done. And not necessarily that being consistent, but being okay with the fact that I can set that and stick to it and be present when I choose to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that. I'm taking all that in myself, because that's the same place that I'm in currently is, you know, there's room for both things to be true.
Yep.
And not falling in love with this culture of, because I'm busy, I deserve a badge.
Yep, exactly. Yep, it's not a badge of honor. It's really not.
But am I fruitful? Am I productive?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between busy and productive.
Exactly.
Right? And that's been more of the chase that I've been after.
Yeah.
And if that means one day I get to stop at, that means one day I don't got to do anything.
Yes.
But if that means the next day I got to work 18-hour days, there's room for both things to be okay.
Exactly.
Because I'm chasing that freedom that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been drilling you for a while. So I want to open up space. Like, do you have any questions for me before we kind of get to the end part of this show?
Absolutely. Well, before I get into a question, I just want to give you your flowers. You know, I think we've talked a lot in this conversation about, you know, things coming from, you know, a thought and a concept and an idea to come into fruition. And that's what this is. And I just want to give you your flowers and congratulate you and take a moment to just say yay to you for doing that and birthing this platform that's going to be able to help so many people, that's going to be able to inspire and change lives. And who knows the guests that you're going to have on this show. You know, I'm the first guest, Taylor Dee Kids TV, you know, check me out. But I think there's going to be so many other wonderful, amazing people that are doing amazing things that you're going to be able to expose and just make those connections through what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And just congratulations on your obedience.
Thank you.
So that's that. And then as far as a question, I think that I'm curious to know what sustains you. You know, I think it has been such a journey in me knowing you, that you have been so consistent with being high achieving at whatever level, you know, whether you be working a job or whether you be doing a project for a client or now, you know, in your entrepreneurial space, you've always achieved at the highest level and done such an excellent job at that, performed excellent. So I'm just curious, and it would be helpful for other people to know, how do you sustain that?
That's good. I feel like I need to like try to answer that question at another date. But today, right, it is the constant quest of wanting other people to benefit by way of what I do. Whether that is knowing that their dream is possible too, or something that we're implementing is impacting their life too. And to know that the work I get to do, one, fulfills me, that I'm passionate about, but makes the world better in some way, shape, or form, is worth getting out of the bed for. So I'm grateful that I get to do this work, and I will continue to do that work of making the world a better place every single day.
I love that.
So that's what I get to do. So,
hey, so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So, closing question for you.
Okay.
All right. So we started this episode with the question of what would you go back and say to your younger self? Okay. I want to end the episode asking you.
I know where this is going.
What would you say today to your future self?
Wow. I kept it simple. I think for future self, I would do the same, and I would say keep creating. You know, and that doesn't necessarily just mean content, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily just mean in business, but that means, you know, keep creating all the things that this world needs. Keep creating love, keep creating, you know, good character, keep creating opportunities, keep creating and standing on your own faith to inspire other people. You know, all these things that we can keep creating that are positive, that can be a light to the world. That's what I would say to my future self, and also to you, because look at when you create, it literally creates a platform where you're able to help other people, and that's what I truly believe that we are here on this earth to do, to make an impact.
100% agree.
Yes, and you're doing just that.
Thank you, and so are you. So thank you, my friend, for
Yes.
being my first guest of the Elevation Uncorked podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm so grateful to have you here and for all the work that you're doing. So thank y'all for watching. Again, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so that we can all elevate and grow together. To my dear friend, I love you.
Yes, love
Cheers
you
to
too.
you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I would love to further connect with you. Feel free to check me out at drtaylord.com, as well as Taylor D Kids TV on YouTube and all social media platforms.